Yeah.
Okay.
Phone mwana.
Mr. Ndima, you are on.
Elementary school teacher.
Good morning. My name is Vusitemba Ndima. I'm the Deputy Director General for Heritage Promotion and Preservation in the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture in South Africa. I will be chairing the Day 1 program of the Workshop of African Experts on Sites of Memory. First and foremost, I wish to especially highlight the following list of acknowledgements. I want to acknowledge the Chairperson of the African World Heritage Fund, Mr. Vusumuzi Mkhize, who is also the Director General of the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture in South Africa. The patron of the African World Heritage Fund, Professor Christina Cameron. The President of Africa Group at UNESCO, His Excellency, Mr. Albertus Aukamub. The Dean of Ambassadors and Ambassador of the Democratic Republic of Congo to South Africa, His Excellency, Mr. Ben Lofungo. Your Excellencies representing various states parties to the World Heritage Convention, the Director of UNESCO World Heritage Center, Dr. Mechthild Roosler, the President of the International Council on Museums and Sites, ICOMOS, Ms. Teresa Patricio, the Director General of the International Center for the Study of the Preservation and Restoration of Cultural Property, ICROM, Dr. Weber Ndoro, distinguished African members of the World Heritage Committee from Egypt, Ethiopia, Mali, Nigeria, South Africa, and Uganda. African experts, national directors, representatives of various heritage institutions on the African continent, members of the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. A special recognition and a warm welcome is extended to all participants, experts, but most importantly, to the various speakers who will be sharing their valuable knowledge and ideas to start the necessary robust discussions regarding the critically important subject of sites of memory that were gathered over the next 4 days to deliberate on. As you may be aware, the first 2 days of the workshop will entail the discussion of experts, while the third day will constitute a presentation of the outcomes of the experts' discussion to Directors General or Permanent Secretaries of Ministries of Culture in the African continent, and culminating in an interministerial meeting of Ministers of Culture on the fourth and the last day. In view of the increasing number of nominations submitted or under preparation related to sites associated with memories of recent conflicts, the World Heritage Committee at its second session in Manama, Bahrain, made 3 decisions, which I'm sure speakers will address. These decisions were made in the context characterized by divergent views and positions
My apologies, DDJ. My apologies. May you please unmute yourself?
where should I, because I don't know when I was muted. Maybe if I may start where I said in view of increasing number of nominations submitted or
Yes,
under
sir.
preparation related. Is it fine?
Yes.
Okay. So in view of the increasing number of nominations submitted or under preparation related to sites associated with memories of recent conflicts, the World Heritage Committee at its 42nd session in Manama, Bahrain in 2018, made 3 decisions, which I'm sure speakers will address. These decisions were made in the context characterized by divergent views and positions within the World Heritage community, including amongst African participants to the meeting. In view of providing a platform to contribute to the global reflection on World Heritage nominations related to sites associated with memories of recent conflicts on the African continent. The Minister of Sport, Arts and Culture of South Africa, Honorable Mr. Nathi Mthethwa, committed to host a continental meeting on this topic. The World Heritage Center itself organized 2 expert meetings on this important subject. First in Paris, France, from 4th to 6th December 2018, and a virtual meeting held between the 1st and the 2nd of April 2020. We look forward to the presentation of the outcomes of previous work undertaken on the subject later in the program of today. The objectives of the workshop, therefore, will be to build on the conclusions of the above expert meetings organized by the World Heritage Center. In addition, the aim of the current African expert meeting on sites of memory and the World Heritage Convention in Africa and the meeting of ministers of culture is to further reflect on the operationalization of the concept of sites associated with memories of recent conflicts within the framework of the World Heritage Convention in Africa particularly. The purpose of this auspicious experts workshop and ministerial meeting is consistent with the call by the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization for Africans to write their own stories. With these few words, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to call on our first speaker of the opening ceremony, Ms. Teresa Patricio, the President of the International Council on Monuments and Sites, to deliver her remarks.
Thank you very much, Chair. I don't know if I'm unmuted.
We can hear you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. So thank you, Chairperson, Mr. Ndima, dear Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture of South Africa, dear Chairperson of the African World Heritage Fund, dear colleagues and friends. For those perhaps who don't know me, I present myself. So I'm Teresa Patricio. I'm a Portuguese Belgian architect, and I'm the recently new elected president of ICOMOS. And it's a pleasure for me to be here with all of you, and even if we are online. Allow me please to speak in French, because it's a little bit more easy for me to speak in French. Donc, le Conseil international des monuments et des sites, ICOMOS, est très honoré de faire partie de cette réunion d'experts sur les sites de mémoire et la Convention du patrimoine mondial en Afrique, et nous sommes heureux de contribuer aux discussions. L'ICOMOS est une organisation mondiale d'experts de patrimoine. Nous sommes présents dans 151 pays et actifs en Afrique également. L'ICOMOS, en tant qu'organe consultatif du Comité du patrimoine mondial pour la mise en œuvre de la Convention du patrimoine mondial, doit aborder les problèmes et approfondir des questions lors de l'examen des propositions d'inscription au patrimoine mondial culturel. Les sites de mémoire associés aux conflits récents ont des valeurs multiples. Comme les conflits, par définition, sont enracinés dans des désaccords, il y a plus d'une partie à un conflit et plus d'une vision de ses résultats. Et les souvenirs, les mémoires peuvent souvent être contestés. Par conséquent, les défis auxquels sont confrontés les organes consultatifs du Comité du patrimoine mondial et l'ICOMOS en particulier pour définir et évaluer les sites associés aux mémoires de conflits récents sont diversifiés et sont complexes. En 2018, ICOMOS a partagé son document de travail sur les évaluations des propositions d'inscription au patrimoine mondial liées aux sites associés aux mémoires de conflits récents. Une décision du Comité du patrimoine mondial a encouragé l'ICOMOS à améliorer encore les discussions en élargissant la participation des experts dans ce nouveau domaine thématique, y compris de la région africaine. Donc, l'ICOMOS a développé des réflexions et fait des consultations approfondies sur, et là je cite, la nature de la mémorialisation sur la valeur des mémoires évolutives, la relation entre les attributs par rapport à la mémoire, par rapport à la question de la consultation des parties prenantes. Mais nous avons fait aussi des consultations par rapport à l'identité, à la reconstruction, à la récupération et à la résilience de la société après les conflits, et par rapport à l'amélioration, évidemment, des normes mondiales. Parce que, comme vous le savez, la Convention du patrimoine mondial est un instrument normatif. Le deuxième document de discussion de l'ICOMOS, intitulé « Les sites associés aux mémoires de conflits récents et la Convention du patrimoine mondial », une réflexion sur la possibilité et la manière dont ces sites pourraient répondre à l'objectif et au champ de la Convention du patrimoine mondial et ses orientations. Ce deuxième document, dès lors, est une approche analytique d'un ensemble diversifié de questions transversales sur la façon dont la Convention du patrimoine mondial pourrait prendre en compte les sites associés aux mémoires de conflits récents ou s'il existe des questions doctrinales que pourraient empêcher une telle prise en compte. Le document souligne les difficultés à concilier les caractéristiques et les valeurs de ces sites avec les concepts clés de la Convention du patrimoine mondial, c'est-à-dire la valeur universelle exceptionnelle, son caractère commun, les critères de justification de la valeur universelle exceptionnelle appuyés par une analyse comparative, les notions d'intégrité et d'authenticité et l'idée d'un lieu dans des limites qu'englobent les attributs de la valeur universelle exceptionnelle. Donc, la justification de la valeur universelle exceptionnelle dépend donc du fait que la valeur d'un bien est considérée comme supérieure aux intérêts nationaux et qu'elle est commune à l'ensemble de l'humanité en tant que partie du patrimoine de l'humanité. Donc, cette pertinence des biens pour l'humanité dans son ensemble est au cœur de la Convention du patrimoine mondial. Le travail développé par l'ICOMOS a couvert les points de vue des experts internationaux, des comités nationaux de l'ICOMOS et des comités scientifiques internationaux de l'ICOMOS, qui ensemble reflètent une grande variété d'expertises, ainsi que toutes les régions du monde, y compris la région africaine, compris même, on a invité même des représentants d'États partites aussi de la région africaine. Pour conclure, l'ICOMOS apprécie évidemment l'opportunité que ces discussions nous ont donné de réfléchir aux objectifs fondamentaux, à la portée et aux concepts clés de la Convention du patrimoine mondial, en ce qui concerne les sites associés aux mémoires de conflits récents. Cela nous a permis de nous concentrer sur les caractéristiques précises que définissent la Convention du patrimoine mondial et où éventuellement une clarification pourrait être utile. Et je tiens à réaffirmer notre disponibilité et à réaffirmer le soutien de l'ICOMOS, le soutien que l'ICOMOS peut apporter en termes d'expertise technique, mais aussi de renforcement des capacités. Les comités scientifiques nationaux et internationaux et tous les experts de l'ICOMOS sont mobilisés pour aider le Comité du patrimoine mondial à développer une mise en œuvre inclusive et durable de la Convention du patrimoine mondial. Et je suis sûre que les travaux de cette réunion d'experts et ministériels sur les sites de mémoire et la Convention du patrimoine mondial en Afrique nourriront la réflexion afin de rechercher des perspectives régionales sur ces questions et d'avancer avec des propositions d'action. Donc, je souhaite à tous un dialogue fructueux et merci beaucoup pour votre attention.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much from the president of ICOMOS. Without any further waste of time, can I then call upon the Director General of ICROM, Dr. Robben Island. Let me just also indicate I've got a bit of a problem with connectivity this side. I could hardly hear. I've actually asked IT to come and assist so that we can improve my connectivity, because it's very important that I should be able to get all the valuable inputs that are being made by various speakers. So without any further waste of time, can I call upon Dr. Robben Island? You have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Chairperson. Your Excellencies, comrades and friends, Salam alaikum. We at ICROM welcome this workshop and the discussions which you are going to have. We believe that it is the appropriate time to look at this topic, particularly given the history of Africa. I would want to speak to you today as an African, and I want to share with you some of my thoughts on the topic and the issues at hand. In July 2020, Somalia became the 54th country from Africa to sign the 1972 World Heritage Convention. This follows the signature of Southern Sudan several years before. Thus, all countries in the African Union, except the Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic, have signed the World Heritage Convention. African countries themselves host more than 134 sites, including 96 from the sub-Saharan region. Most of the sites in North Africa, apart from several in Egypt and Morocco, are of Greco-Roman architecture. Most of the World Heritage Sites listed for sub-Saharan Africa are either archaeological remains, for example, the Cradle of Humankind in South Africa, or Western European architecture, Grand Bassam, for example, in Ivory Coast, or Fort Jesus in Mombasa. Meanwhile, sites related to the genocide in Rwanda and the war in Angola, for example, Quito Carnival, have been struggling to get to this list. These are also sites of memory. So the topic of our discussion today is very pertinent to this issue. There are also the battles of Isindwane in South Africa, the Battle of Adawa in Ethiopia, the genocide sites of the Herero in Namibia, the Mau Mau cultural landscapes, and many others which require our attention. As far as I know, the only site related to this, which is on the World Heritage Site list, is Robben Island, a site known throughout the world as a symbol of resistance to apartheid and colonialism, but has been recognized on the World Heritage list due to what is referred to by experts as its multi-layered history. In my view, it is first and foremost a site related to memory and remembrance. Across most of Africa, it was the colonial archaeologists and antiquarians who lobbied for legislation and policies to protect heritage sites. So it is no surprise that more than 60% of those on the World Heritage List are either archaeological sites or places of colonial heritage. These two categories do not, however, adequately describe the totality of African heritage. There are also important issues to consider given the predominance of cultural sites in Africa focused on archaeological or European heritage. Even the so-called outstanding universal value of sites like Great Zimbabwe refer to Queen of Sheba and the role of the site as a medieval capital. I'm not so sure whether the medieval period ever existed on the African continent. Here, World Heritage concepts and practices could learn from recent discussions arising from the Black Lives Matter movement about heritage and museum development. Most museums and heritage sites in Africa celebrate colonial history. Rarely do we find museums dedicated to African achievements and liberation struggles. And here is where the sites of memory might play a contribution. The Rhodes Must Fall movement has clearly demonstrated the need to balance colonial history and African heritage concepts. Although World Heritage experts like ourselves might dismiss these movements as political machinations, far removed from the realities of the hard archaeological science and the architectural analysis which follows, this would seem to me to give credence to the idea that African heritage begins and ends with the arrival of Europeans on the continent. So this topic which we have started today, I believe, does open avenues, does allow us to look at the concepts from Africa related to sites of memory, so that World Heritage truly becomes a multivocal, multi-heritage concept. I thank you. Shukran.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ndoro, for that insightful presentation that you have given us. I was just grappling with my technology here. If you saw some visuals that were not meant to be seen, it was colleagues who were helping me with this. It's better now. Can I then immediately call upon the director of the World Heritage Center, Dr. Mechthild Rossler. You have the floor, madam.
Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to see you, dear Chairperson, Your Excellencies, dear colleagues, dear friends. First of all, let me thank the African World Heritage Fund for the active contribution to the implementation of the World Heritage Convention. And I truly think that this meeting will further offer considerations and reflections on a topic which is important for many states parties, including in the African region, and this is very much welcome. As you know, it was the World Heritage Committee which took a decision to launch a reflection in 2018. This was in response to a trend indicating that a number of World Heritage nominations might be submitted related to sites associated with memories of rather recent conflicts, and in the absence of clear parameters for how such sites might relate to the World Heritage Convention. This reflection was also triggered by the submission of the nomination of the funerary and memorial sites of the First World War on the Western Front by Belgium and France, and the consequent attempt to evaluate it by ICOMOS for examination by the World Heritage Committee. This resulted in reviewing some issues related to this topic, eventually leading to set the ground for a broader reflection on this typology of sites which was needed and which was pending since 1996. The debate at the 42nd session of the World Heritage Committee highlighted how the reading of the same historic facts may vary from one country to another. And you remember these debates which led to some discussions also on colonialism. In its presentation to the World Heritage Committee of the evaluation undertaken, ICOMOS noted that this nomination raised fundamental questions with regard to the relevance of the scene for the World Heritage List and in relation to the purpose and the scope of the World Heritage Convention and its appropriateness regarding commemorating properties related to conflict or war. At its 42nd session, the committee, in 3 of its decisions, and Mr. Chair, you referred to them already, requested to convene an expert meeting on sites associated with memories of recent conflicts. In its decision 42-5A, the committee, noting the discussion paper by ICOMOS on evaluations of World Heritage nominations related to sites associated with memories of recent conflicts, decided to convene an expert meeting on sites associated with memories of recent conflicts to allow for both philosophical and practical reflections on the nature of memorialization, the value of evolving memories, the interrelationship between material and immaterial attributes in relation to memory, and the issue of stakeholder consultation, and to develop guidance on whether and how these sites might relate to the purpose and scope of the World Heritage Convention. And they said, provided that extra budgetary funding is available, and invited states party to financially contribute it, which actually happened. In its decision 42-AB24, the committee said that while recalling the reservations it has expressed concerning the inscriptions of sites related to negative memories, the committee decided to adjourn consideration of the nomination of the funerary and memorial sites of the First World War, the Western Front, until a comprehensive reflection has taken place, and the committee at its 44th session has discussed and decided whether and how sites associated with recent conflicts and other negative and divisive memories might relate to the purpose and scope of the World Heritage Convention and its operational guidelines. In the same decision, the committee noted that the nomination of the funerary and memorial sites of the First World War could only be considered by the committee upon further review by the advisory bodies in light of committee decisions referred to and upon receipt of additional information to be provided. Finally, in its decision 42-8, the committee also decided that the evaluation of sites associated with recent conflicts shall be undertaken once a comprehensive reflection has taken place, and the committee at its 44th session has discussed and decided on how these sites might relate to the purpose and scope of the World Heritage Convention and its operational guidelines. Now, you know that in 2018, the committee noted... Sorry, could you please switch off your microphone? In 2018, the committee noted that some discussions on sites of memory already occurred in the past. And I wish to recall the number of meetings we had previously, such as the Warsaw meeting already in 2012. The need to address the question of the relevance of including sites linked to recent conflicts on the World Heritage List and to undertake a targeted reflection on this particular typology of sites has been pending since 1996, when the inscription of the Hiroshima Peace Memorial on the World Heritage List raised concerns. And these concerns are documented actually in the decisions record. Somebody muted me, I unmuted myself. Can I continue, please?
Go ahead.
Thank you very much. So I mentioned the Hiroshima Peace Memorial, and you can look up the records of the decisions. There are a number of countries which intervened at that point, and they said the World Heritage Convention. Hello, technicians, could you please mute your microphone?
Okay, go ahead. I hope he has heard. Thank you.
The discussion is already going on, apparently.
Sorry, can you please mute so that the speaker cannot be disturbed, please? Thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I mentioned the Hiroshima Peace Memorial, and if you would like to look it up, there were discussions relating to this site, and a number of countries intervened and said the World Heritage Convention is not made for war sites. I have to underline that the requirement for thorough examination of sites linked to recent conflicts had become already evident as early as 1979. When the committee decided to inscribe the Auschwitz concentration camp on the World Heritage List as a single site and to limit the registration of other sites of similar nature. So that was a decision of the World Heritage Committee for concerning this exceptional site. And along these lines, the committee has included a few other sites on an exceptional basis. And I think my colleagues have already mentioned Robben Island, which is in this case not only a site inscribed under criterion 6, but also under another criterion. Let me also add that the committee acted with caution for another reason in a number of cases. In case conflicts come up, there is no mechanism to solve them. The committee has the experience from the Privy Here case, a site inscribed in 2008 in Cambodia at the border to Thailand. People were killed following the inscription, and major interventions at the highest level, and I had to carry out this mission together with a former Director General, at the highest level were necessary to stop the killing. It is therefore understandable that the committee uses a careful approach related to any recent conflicts. The committee further noted the need for a more in-depth and focused reflection on sites of memory associated with recent conflicts. This reflection appears necessary also because of the many nominations in preparation and in prospect, and this has been mentioned by the other speakers. The committee considered that these nominations challenge the convention at several levels, particularly regarding its universality. This guidance is much needed for future reference, but first and foremost to deal with a few pending nominations. In fact, as a direct consequence of Decision 42.8, currently there are 4 nominations which were already officially submitted and whose evaluation is on hold while waiting the results of the ongoing reflection. These are the funerary and memorial sites of the First World War on the Western Front from Belgium and France, the Normandy landing beaches from France, the Brancusi Monumental Ensemble of Pago Giu in Romania, and the memorial sites of the genocide in Rwanda. Therefore, we organized in a timely manner a broader information session in January 2021 for all 194 states parties to the World Heritage Convention. At this meeting, 3 presentations were made which are fully online. I hope that this is a good basis also for our reflections and your reflections during this week. Dear colleagues, dear experts, let me conclude by saying that this is certainly a complex matter which requires in-depth reflection. In this regard, your considerations are much welcome, and I encourage you to fully document the outcome of these reflections for the benefit of all. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much from Dr. Rusla from the World Heritage Center. Thank you for those insightful inputs. I would now allow the keynote address by the chairperson of the African World Heritage Fund. In terms of my program here, we can then allow media questions and answers as per the program before we then move to plenary. We still are good in terms of time, and the presenters have been very good in terms of being brief, very concise, and very insightful inputs. So without any further waste of time, may I call upon the chairperson of the African World Heritage Fund, Mr. Vusumuzi Mkhize, to address this occasion. You have the floor, Mr. Mkhize. I have called upon the chairperson of the African World Heritage Fund.
Oh, good morning, Chairperson, and thank you very much for the opportunity for us now to be able to address you in this August meeting. The patron of the African World Heritage Fund, Professor Christina Cameron, the president of the Africa Group at UNESCO, and His Excellency, Mr. Albertus Aukchamod, the Dean of Ambassadors and Ambassador of the Democratic Republic of Congo, and to South Africa, His Excellency, Mr. Ben-El Poko, Your Excellencies representing various states parties to the World Heritage Convention, the Director of UNESCO World Heritage Center, Dr. Mechthild Rossler, the President of the International Council on Monuments and Sites, Ms. Teresa Patricio, and congratulations for your elections. And we wish you all the best as you drive ECOMOS to new heights. The Director General of the International Center for the Study of the Preservation and Restoration of Cultural Property, Dr. Webandoro, our former Executive Director. It's good to see you again and welcome. Distinguished African members of the World Heritage Committee from Egypt, Ethiopia, Mali, Nigeria, South Africa, Uganda, and all other states that might be represented here. Dear experts and national directors, members of the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. For those I might not have mentioned by name or by institution, I pass the greetings of the African World Heritage Fund this morning. Let me start by expressing my gratitude to all of you, distinguished guests and participants who made yourselves available to this important meeting. I would like to express my deepest gratitude to the government of South Africa for having initiated the meeting in partnership with the African World Heritage Fund. Today, our continent joins the family of the world nations in one voice as part of the celebration of the 2021, the Year for Arts, Culture and Heritage, as declared by the African Union Assembly of the Heads of State and Government on a critical issue around sites of memory and the implementation of the World Heritage Convention as was published in 1972. The African World Heritage Fund welcomes this three-pronged initiative gathering for 4 days in which African experts, ambassadors, national directors, thereafter our permanent secretaries, and then our ministers in charge of culture will participate. This meeting comes at a right moment on our collective journey to interrogate the credibility and representation of our narratives in World Heritage systems. Specifically, this meeting is a moment of reflection about how best the evaluation of sites associated with recent conflicts in Africa, such as Keynote in Angola, and genocide testimonial sites in South Africa and Rwanda, can be undertaken to meet World Heritage requirements. Put it that way, and given the divergent voices by various groups, namely experts, government officials, and sometimes citizens on our continent and worldwide, you will admit with me the question put forward is not an easy one and is extremely complex. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, our gathering is a milestone for the appreciation and acknowledgement of African heritage worldwide. When echoing divergent views on this subject, we need to define ourselves, our paths as a continent, and propose to the world how best heritage sites related to recent conflicts can be accommodated in World Heritage and other recognition systems. This must be understood in a context that this is not for purposes of divisive nature However, it's more about reconciliation with an intention to prevent future conflicts which might evolve should we not learn from the previous ones and have no sites in which we can have these reflections. And in the words of our former president, Nelson Mandela in South Africa, the first democratically elected president, he once said, never and never again should one nation and one person be subjected to any form of oppression or divisiveness, whether it is by race or any other creed. Therefore, then, how do we achieve this never and never again, as our former president said? It is important then that one of those should be the issue of how do we enlist such sites so that they reflect our memories and we are able to say to the future generations, indeed, it is correct. Never again should we have conflict in which race or tribe is exploited by one another. You will agree with me then that in the first block building structure for such achievement is the contextualization of our reflection by the experts, who will then assist in taking this to permanent secretaries on their ideas and thoughts. And then this will be taken to our ministers of culture on Friday. We need to understand the stakes on the ground and bring quality contribution to the discussions in accordance with the spirit of the World Heritage Convention around peace building and the long-term protection of testimonial places. Africa has suffered over centuries from slavery, colonialism, mind reading, misinterpretation and misunderstanding of its own engines and dynamics. Our continent has suffered from exogenous representations of its values and heritage. On the outset of our meeting, one may ask a few questions. For instance, one, aren't memory sites related to recent conflicts part of the narrative Africa would want to protect and market using global recognition brand, such as a World Heritage? In which extent and what and under what conditions are such quests acceptable without betraying the processes as established? Isn't heritage qualified as a divisive memories also part of reconciliation and nation building mechanisms? An approach which then poses the critical question of contextualization of their evaluation. These are a few questions that I would like and urge experts to address during their deliberations. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, in accordance with the African Union Agenda 2063, Africa We Want, and the UN Sustainable Development Goals, the African World Heritage Fund remains at the helm of supporting African countries in their efforts to improve the conservation, management, and protection, as well as global marketing of heritage sites, aiming at building sustainability for the benefit of our populations. We believe that information sharing and capacity building are key to improve on the transformation of our values and heritage places into success stories using the World Heritage Framework. Once again, and on behalf of the Board of Trustees of the African World Heritage Fund, I extend my gratitude to the Minister of Sport, Arts and Culture in South Africa, Minister Natin Tetwa, for his leadership and his commendable efforts in striving to uphold the protection and promotion of African heritage, despite the sensitivity of the subject, and giving us an opportunity to host the African World Heritage Fund as assigned by the United African Union. I also wish to all of you, heritage practitioners, officials, academics, and experts engaging in these deliberations during this 4-day session, a wonderful engagement and a productive, deliberative, and most informative reflection. I therefore declare open the virtual meeting on sites of memory and the World Heritage Convention in Africa. I wish you fruitful deliberations. Thank you, Program Director.
Thank you very much. That was the chairperson of the African World Heritage Fund, Mr. Vusumuzi Mkhize. That actually concludes this opening ceremony. I know that there's going to be very deep discussions and deliberations as we go to the plenary, where various experts will then begin to deal with the nitty-gritties of what we are about here. Having observed the acknowledgement by various speakers of the intricacies involved and the complexities involved in this kind of memory sites, but also the acknowledgement of the fact that despite such intricacies and complexities, Africans and all those who were downtrodden through various forms of oppression, they want to tell their stories because they are of the belief that telling such stories might actually lead to the real healing process, not cosmetic healing. Healing that opens the wounds, clean the wounds, and bandage the wounds, rather than put a bandage on the wounds that are festering. So without any further waste of time, may I then allow questions from media, because it's been provided for in our program for today. Or I've been also asked that if members can rename themselves, maybe Tembi, you can come in and just indicate the purpose of renaming. Can I give you the floor so that you can explain this? And I'm sure it would then smoothen our processes going forward. Ms. Malau.
Good morning. Thank you, Program Director, and good morning, members. The request is from the hybrid comms that members should rename, and I think that Program Director was actually explained to the members through our chat box. However, what we would now request is for members to kindly show your photos so that we are able to do a group photo. So Chair, I think that is what we are requesting now for all the members who are on this virtual meeting to please put on your photos so that we have a group photo. Thank you.
We are still missing Ms. Teresa Patricio. If we can have her.
I'm here.
If you can please show your photo, please. We're missing you here.
Oh, I have my open photo.
Okay, Program Director, it is it is actually for all the people who are in this meeting. All the 92 participants who are in this meeting, kindly put on your photos.
Okay, thank you for that correction. I don't seem to be seeing any further photos. I would imagine that photograph would be very beautiful if we were all to appear in this screen and take a photo. But now I only see you, Ms. Malawi, and not all the people that are supposed to be featuring here. Any person who can assist with this?
Yes, can all the participants, all the 91 participants, can you kindly put on your videos? Not only the people who are on the program, but all the members who are in this meeting. I see quite a lot.
You see there a lot.
Yeah.
Look, if it's just me who cannot see,
Yeah.
and people are there, then let's just take the photo.
Yes, no, people are here, program director.
Okay, let's take the photo. And I'm sure that we can all smile. Who is going to tell us when we have taken the photo?
Okay, I'll let you know. Okay, we're done.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much to all the delegates here. Can we then move to media? Ms. Malawi, you will then indicate to me if there's media here that would want maybe just to ask our speakers a couple of questions before we move to plenary. We've got just a couple of minutes because the plenary was supposed to begin at 12, but we can allow for some media engagements because this is a subject matter of interest, and I'm sure it should be of interest to the media as well.
Okay, thank you, DDG. The media unit from our side is requesting the program chair to ask the media that is in the house to please raise their hands so that we know who is from the media house.
Okay. Is there anyone from media who would want to ask questions? We can also use the chat box as part of our communicating, but if you can raise your hands, and I can't see this side, the hands,
Yes.
anyone
Yes.
who would then assist me if there are some questions coming from media.
Okay, we will assist. I haven't seen any.
Okay. If there is no media with us, the time now is 11:58, 2 minutes to 12. I would therefore request that we proceed. I don't know whether you would need some break, but if there's anyone who needs some comfort break, wherever you are, you can, and then we will move to plenary session, which is supposed to take place between 12 and 1 o'clock.
Okay. Program director?
Yes, Ms. Malau?
I am told that there is the African News Agency in the room?
We can give them the floor.
Yes.
You can take the floor. I've already given the floor to a media person. There seems to be no
Yes.
no one taking the platform.
Yes, they are here, but for now they are saying they do not have any questions. If there are any, they will put them onto the chat box.
Thank you very much. Can we therefore move straight to plenary session, where we should then be looking at the outcomes of previous work on the subject? If we can have the African World Heritage Fund as well as ICOMOS to take us through the presentation. Without any further waste of time, can I give the floor to the African World Heritage Fund and ICOMOS? Thank you.
Okay. Program Director, my apologies. There are questions on the chat box.
Chat box, yes.
There is a question from Mokel from African News Agency. And he's saying, I just want to know what is the role Africans should play in having our history told. And sorry, not sure if it was seen in the chat, and his mic is giving him issues.
Can you come again?
Okay. The question is from Devarox Maukel from African News Agency. And his question is, I just want to know what is the role Africans should play in having our history told.
Okay, is that the only question?
That is the only question for now.
Can I just open this up to the members of the panel or experts? Any of the panel members or the speakers who would want to take that question? What is the role of Africans in having our history told? Any take of the question? Or anyone who is not even a speaker who would want to take that question?
Maybe I should, in line with the
pleasure, with pleasure, Chairperson.
Yes, I think when firstly is that the Africans themselves, we should be able to build the capacity within our own to be able to have the necessary skills as well as the necessary expertise and build the knowledge in the universities so that we then are able to develop appropriate portfolios as well as historical information that can assist the world to understand the perspectives as well as the criteria of what Africans think about their history and remove the distortions that are there currently that have been done and written by those who were looking at Africa as a dark continent. So first and foremost is to build the skills and be able to have the knowledge about what is a criteria required or criterion that is required for us to be able to say this portfolio of evidence that we submit to the world and for them to recognize as a World Heritage Site, we are meeting those criteria, but we must shape the narrative as Africans. We must then also embed our own stories in our education system, because I think if we have proper education system that is able to gather historical facts about Africa's development and growth and past, we then are able to make sure that our future generations take pride in their Africanness and take pride in terms of telling their own stories by Africans for Africans. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much. That was the chairperson of the African World Heritage Fund, providing that response to the question of what can be done to ensure that the Africans tell their stories. Thank you very much.
There is also a hand from Crispin Yoka and Charles Akibode, I think from Cabo Verde.
It's fine. Let's take the speakers in that order. Thank you very much, Ms. Malau. In that order, you have the floor. Mr. Yoka, you have the floor. If you can please unmute yourself.
Vous m'entendez, je crois.
Crispin Yoka and
Vous m'entendez? Merci, Monsieur le Président. Je voulais abonder dans le même sens que l'intervenant de tout à l'heure. Les Africains ont déjà commencé à inscrire leur propre histoire. Et la conférence ou la réunion des experts qui se tient actuellement a pour but de pouvoir lever les options sur les faits associés à des conflits récents. Et ces faits ne doivent pas être écrits par d'autres personnes que les Africains eux-mêmes. Donc, c'est pour dire que dans de nombreux ouvrages, des historiens africains comme Elikan Bokolo et d'autres sont en train de réécrire notre propre histoire. Et comme l'intervenant l'a souligné, dans nos universités, dans nos écoles, on est en train de faire un maximum d'efforts pour enseigner notre propre histoire. Mais je voulais faire quand même un recadrage, Monsieur le Président, que dans la note conceptuelle que vous nous aviez transmise, le contexte a souligné les différentes étapes qui ont été parcourues pour arriver à inscrire ou non les sites associés au conflit récent dans le cadre du patrimoine mondial. Et des objectifs ont été assignés à la réunion des experts, c'est-à-dire l'opérationnalisation de ce que nous devons faire. Mais j'ai l'impression comme si on est en train de revenir sur les réunions qui ont eu à Bahreïn en 2018, en 2019, en 2020. Or, lorsqu'on parle de l'opérationnalisation, c'est-à-dire que nous devons, dans cette réunion, lever les options. Comment nous devons faire la mise en œuvre des faits de guerre associés au conflit récent patrimoine. Alors, si vous nous inscrivez dans cet objectif que vous nous aviez assigné dans la note conceptuelle, nous allons avancer. Mais si nous allons toujours revenir, le problème ne se posera pas parce que la note que vous aviez élaborée a été claire. Elle a esquissé les difficultés qu'on a rencontrées. Mais présentement, en tant qu'expert, nous devons maintenant mettre des moyens de mise en œuvre, d'opérationnalisation. C'est-à-dire, comment est-ce que parvenir à faire intégrer l'effet des conflits récents dans la Convention du patrimoine. Donc, nous devions vraiment inscrire nos débats à ce niveau. Je vous dis que je suis directeur au ministère de la Culture et des Arts en République démocratique du Congo, Monsieur Koudiakobana Yoka Crispin. Je dis, je vous remercie. Voilà la mise au point que je voulais à ce niveau soulever, Monsieur le Président, parce que d'ici là, je serai peut-être à bout de charge. Le temps de chercher à charger, je reviendrai vous. Mais j'aimerais que nous puissions vraiment nous limiter aux objectifs qui ont été assignés dans la note conceptuelle.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yoga, for those fruitful input. Can I then go straight to Mr. Charles Akibode? You have the floor.
Merci beaucoup, bonjour à tous. J'ai eu l'honneur de participer à ces réunions qui sont liées au site de mémoire. Et je souhaiterais rapidement dire que pour répondre justement à la question qui a été posée, à savoir quel sera le rôle que les Africains peuvent jouer pour mieux raconter leur histoire, en plus de ce qui a été dit, il est très important, si l'on se réfère justement à la Convention et aux orientations. J'ai du bruit, il y a quelqu'un qui n'a pas fermé son micro, je crois, c'est Ismaël Yoka. Donc, je disais tantôt qu'il est important que l'on puisse intégrer, je m'excuse, mais je suis coupé par un son. Je suis coupé. Bon, donc je disais tantôt qu'il est important.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Il est important d'intégrer. Il est important d'intégrer les communautés locales, surtout ceux qui vivent à l'intérieur et autour du site. Il est important, surtout, si l'on veut faire, disons, mieux marcher le critère 6, il serait très bien que l'on puisse justement intégrer les histoires orales, le patrimoine oral, la mémoire collective autour de ces sites de mémoire. Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for those inputs, starting with the chairperson to Mr. Yoga, and lastly to the last speaker, who has also just made some inputs into the question that was asked by media. Of course, if we want to decolonize our history, it should start with research, gathering as much information as we can, and ensure that we remove the distortions and train the educators in a way that would ensure that our history is the history that is being told from the perspective of Africans. So without any further waste of time, if there's no further media question, I would therefore request that the director of the African World Heritage Fund, as part of the plenary, gives us a report, which some of the speakers have already spoken about, that let's move forward and ensure that we move towards looking at how this is going to be operationalized so that we can go for implementation. Thank you very much. You have the floor, Mr. Swaibo Veriso.
Thank you very much, Chair. I don't know if you can hear me. Can hear myself?
I can hear you very well. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very
and
much.
I can
Chair.
see you now.
Okay, thank you. Maybe I would start by thanking the organizers of this meeting and say that the idea to still present the main outcomes, let's say the main conclusions of various expert meetings and studies, that idea comes from the fact that it's key to know where we are coming from before even starting talking operationalization through the plenary discussion and of